and we will get things going. So this rotation is going to be an interesting one today. I have to almost remind myself because we're not even in that round of 32. But I'm excited to. I'm excited to see a lot of these players play today. Actually, Seamash will know what I'm talking about when he actually gets in there. Obviously, otherwise it's like there's not much point in us talking to each other too much. But anyway, the rotation: Battle of Kylo, Temple of Silent Storm, Legacy of the Foefire. Quarterfinals will be Temple of Silent Storm, Forest of Niflheim, Battle of Kylo. Semi-final will be Legacy of the Foefire, Battle of Kylo, Forest of Niflheim. The final will be a choice, and we're going to talk about that later on in the stream. And here we go. Things are going to get going with both of these teams as we enter the first map of the day on Battle of Kylo, of course. Interesting to see. Alice will go to close the Guardian there. Obviously quite slow movement. Does have room the Traveller. Looks like we're going to see a stealth movement as well from Show Dominance. They split towards the mid cap, but actually we are going to see Flo distancing off towards the Mansion. Quack and Offending Name are going to be going to mid. Looks like they're trying to find a position themselves to actually just do some damage at range. They're still not aware of where they are actually at the moment. Quack is going to just jump onto Node versus Crixels. We're going to see this 2v2 kind of develop here as we look back over towards Windmill. We've got the 2v2 situation between Trek on Frosty, and on the opposite team, obviously, huge Sock and small Zella there as well. And we will see Alice move into mid to try and equalize things up a little bit more. How you doing, Seamash?
I am almost in. I'm almost inside, so yeah.
No worries, I'll carry on. So everyone towards the midpoint, just having a look at Samboa now, actually. He's getting a lot of pressure on him, needs to pop off his heel. He's going to be actually almost back up to full health. That does look like Show Dominance, just not paying too much attention to the fact that he has obviously used his heel there. But I think we will probably see him taken down quite shortly as well. We're going to see Blue Team over on the other side of the map as well take advantage of the fact that most people have moved into mid. They will get the 2-cap here, but they will lose members. Although Samboa, clutch res there, as we see him come back up. And they're actually going to have a 2-cap themselves. And don't know what to. Doing okay at the moment. He is going to go down again. Not sure we're going to see a res coming out, as he is in a little bit of a predicament here. And I do believe we will see what to do. Sorry, don't know what
it's
to.
Quite hilarious.
Yeah, dissipate over to the sides. But that's still quite a lead early on, dude.
Yes, that is quite a lead early on. Me just jumping in right now, and it's pretty funny how Samboy died there. His team not realizing that. Maybe they were too busy trying to save each other from death and that before he went down fully. Hopefully they can come back here. I'm wondering what they can do at the moment. I can see what you're talking about the teams and why you should be excited to see how they play with Frosty and Quack being PvPers that we know from before. So yeah, it should be interesting. And they're already taking a node, 2 nodes. Oh, decapped. Cool stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Sorry, guys. I think my mic is clipping a little bit, so I think Freak's just going to fix that for you. Just turn my volume down a little tiny bit. I'm going to just be quiet as well. I'm going to try and lower my voice, and that's difficult. Trekon's going to go down over towards the Mansion, though. They're going to cleave him out. No, going to actually down him either. And actually, this is quite a surprising move over towards the Mansion as well. They start to group up as they go for the push. They've got the kill, but they should be able to maybe get something out of this and reclaim that home node. But over on the Windmill as well, we are going to see Offending Name trying to take Crixels here. Obviously, Druid's like king of 1v1s as well, at least sustain. But Offending Name is going to push him away. Crixel's not going to get the decap that easily. He's not going to be able to pile on as much damage. And Trekon being here as well, he's going to be able to... They're going to be in a 2v1 situation. He can get away quite easily, but just needs to make sure he doesn't get caught out as he tries to leave this capture node. And we are going to see the actual backup and actually rotation in from the thief here. It's quite interesting. Interesting move. They are going to potentially take out Offending Name there. That's a great rotation from this blue team as they take out the Necro. He's a source of a lot of their damage, and Trekon now could be under significant pressure other than Frosty, who does come in to back him up.
On mid, Quack has taken mid and with the help of one of his other teammates. And with them capturing mid, it means they can still hold the 2-cap, hopefully with the mine or the Windmill still being theirs at the moment. So yeah, they're making a good comeback after that really crazy 2-cap coming out from the blue team. Yeah, let's see how they do.
I like how they're matching up as well. The thief, how he's repositioning as well, coming over towards the Necro, trying to take him down low. I'm still thinking that this windmill over here is where they're just trying to distract them actually away from the rest of the map. Possibly now over on Mansion. They need to haul it over towards... No, they're not going to move over towards Mansion. That might not be the greatest idea. I think Small is thinking about it. But otherwise, he needs to stay mid. They can get this kill on Frosty. That would be fantastic for them, because then they could snowball potentially back over towards Mansion. The Thief, he's going to try and keep the Necro busy here. Obviously, 1v1 is going to be quite difficult, but he's doing a good job at avoiding that AoE coming out, as obviously offending name is in Reaper Shroud at the moment. Did take a little bit of a nerf in terms of stability. Doesn't pulse anymore. It just stacks those couple of stacks of stability, of course, rather than the pulse. So that's actually a lot stronger now. And Thief's been able to interrupt, obviously. The Necro is absolutely fantastic for them. I know that because I've been playing Necro a lot recently. Thief's just... it's just horrid. It's actually horrible. Small Zeller over towards midpoint. No backup for him, although Schuberg is trying it. As he tries to come through the portal, we are going to see that midpoint flip into the favor of Show Dominance now, as we are 164 to 1818, and all the map is completely contested at the moment, although Alice Schuberg is going to go down. Son trying to come in for the res. Nice star 5, pushes those members away. A good start, but unfortunately I think there's too much cleave there to really do anything, and he might actually potentially have to leave or distract himself, although Small Zeller is coming in potentially. Oh, Moa comes out onto Sambo, and he's going to have to actually move completely away. Chaos Storm is going to miss him as well, although it looks like he's going to go down potentially. So low on HP, 2k. He's going to get boasters potentially. Oh, the heal comes out, and we are going to see the Mesmer doing a fantastic job of just backing him up.
Yeah, I feel like the blue team keeps spreading themselves too thin. When they were on, when the offending name was on the mansion, and the thief came to disturb him and try to pressure the point, it felt like they could have gone somewhere else and let the thief and the Necro go at it for a short time. But unfortunately, they pushed to that Necro, and obviously the Necro called out for his friends, and they came back and reinforced that node, and now they're just stuck piling on to Mansion, and that's not really good for them. They need to figure out a way to change the dynamic between them and the red team, and figure out a way to, distract them, just as the red team is doing to them as well. So how do they do that? I am not quite sure yet.
I mean, as well, they lost over towards Windmill. Actually, we saw the 1v1 in the end finished as well, and we did see that come into Show Dominance favor. At the moment, showing dominance literally on the map, as they do have the free cap. I think you're right. Sometimes they are trying to distract, and actually they're quite thin on the ground. I do think sometimes as well they're not letting the Thief push far enough. So actually, the Druid is not pulling out as much as he is. Now he is. Huge Sock gets the decap. That's going to enable Frosty to go back on node. And now Huge Sock can +1 elsewhere. But the thing is, Small Zeller did go down between Windmill and the midpoint. So any advantage they're taking from that has actually completely dissipated. So they've got to watch out for that movement towards Windmill really as well. In terms of just are they going to push the Thief? Are they going to push someone else and try and 1v1 him? I don't think they want to 1v1 this Druid at the moment. If they can keep him at Windmill by decapping, fantastic. Sambo is going to go down though if he's not careful. I don't think he's got any movement here. Huge Sock goes down elsewhere. He tries to block as well. I'm going to see Crixels just come in for some potential support, but it's not enough, I don't think. And actually, they completely split apart from each other. And in Celestial Avatar form, Crixels tries to do his best, but gets feared away. That's really great from offending name there, as he pulls out a great fear, which really stops a lot of the support coming out into Samboa as well. And actually, Crixels is going for a 1v1, which I don't think he should be taking.
It's kind of funny. I mean, I was just thinking about Huge Shock and the way he's rotating. I feel like he's doing well, but when you start losing, like the blue team is doing now, it's hard to get back into the game. It's got to get back into the groove. Unfortunately, it seems like that's just a downward spiral that they can't really break out of at this point. 400 points to 100, as it's looking right now, it's pretty much over. Unless they pull off a crazy comeback, like the ORNG of the old days. I don't think, they will be able to do anything right now.
Yeah, RNG rank 55 obviously as well. There's good solid regroups, but it is way too late in the game right now. 430, pardon me, to 118. Actually, since that neutral cap of all three nodes that I spoke about a fair few minutes ago, the literally blue team has not scored a single point, and that could be almost 5 minutes ago or so, even maybe more. And since then, Show Dominance have literally just been showing their dominance on the field. They've been moving out. They've not been too aggressive, to be fair, they've just held what they actually took about 5 or so
And
minutes
that's
ago.
the point. That's what you've got to do. Unfortunately, because the blue team was, like I said, too aggressive when it came to taking out the Necro. It's like they had a tunnel vision, and it wasn't really good for them at all.
So that will be the end of this first series, and it will be 1-0 to show dominance. I don't think I really need to talk about the fact that they've got a lot to do in terms of coming back, but that will be show dominance in the stream, and that will be your first game of the University? The Unity Gaming Org tournament ever. And we're very happy that you guys can join us for this as well. Remember, you can change the donation goal that we have at the moment. If we can actually raise that, that'd be absolutely sick. It has gone up for $70 now as well. Exclamation mark EDU. I keep saying this wrong. I'm going to actually put it in chat so I get it right. Amazing.
Can you get it right? Can you get it right?
It's going to be It's going to be EUD, or is it going to be exclamation mark DEU? I put this in. I literally did this last night. I woke up at 3:30 this morning, said goodbye to my wife as she's gone to eat food, had a coffee, been trying to sort the tournament, and it's literally 6:40 in the morning. So you're going to have to forgive me a little tiny bit as I try and remember the commands.
Sorry, I can't do that. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning this morning. So yeah, step up your game, dude.
Well, I was up at 3:30. What? Kind of. Anyway, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It's good to see you. Yeah, the quality is good. Frig's got a pretty damn good setup. I mean, we've been trying to plan this for a long time. So, hey ho, the merry-o. Okay. So just communicate exactly. If you want to just quickly remind the stream of the blue team build, Simish, that'd be awesome. While I'm just taking care of a small issue.
All right, let's take a look at the blue team's build. It's been a while. So he's running Sage Amulet, Rune of Adventure, and Sigil of Absorption, Sigil of Doom, and Sigil of Stagnation on his sword and shield and staff, obviously. And he's running Inspiration, Illusions, and Chronomancer. So I guess he's going for the normal Chronomancer here, no? Yep.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a massive amount of changes. I mean, even the Signet of Illusions, I think someone was mentioning something about taking one of the clone utilities, but I've still not really seen that change too much. There we go. Phantasmal Disenchant, there's something we've seen.
Yeah.
Although I'm still kind of surprised a little bit, but the Signet I think is still pretty strong. Flo is pretty quality Mesmer as well at the moment. Mm-hmm. And this team has got some really top quality players. They did come quite far in the GW2 tournament as well, as far as I remember. I need to check my notes, but we have tried to seed this tournament in terms of literally we haven't had many 5v5 tournaments, so we've had to try and seed it somehow. And one of the best ways was to do that was with Halsef and Sin's tournament with GW2, and obviously rank 55 atop, their top seed. It just, it's just a powerhouse of a team. It doesn't really make any sense to not do anything otherwise. But basically, Bo Scoped, that's right, there we go. There are members of Bo Scoped on this team. So Trekon, Imda, and Frosty. Yes. Yeah. There we go. I need to remember
I believe I fought Frosty in solo PvP once, and he's a really good ranger. Just literally couldn't kill him with one of my necro builds. I can't remember. But yeah, moving on to the next class that we're talking about, Thief. He's using dagger pistol, the usual, and bow. And it's interesting that lots of Condi thieves are out nowadays, and they have lots of a really powerful combo that can be crazy. I wonder if people are going to be using that anytime soon. But he's playing power.
Oh God!
We've got Marauder Amulet. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy build. I like it. I like the combo that it comes with. We've got Rune of the Scholar, and he's using Deadly Arts, Trickery, and Daredevil. And obviously he's using the usuals. Dodge, Evade removes Immobilize and Cripple. We've got Sleight of Hand, Bountiful Theft, Thrill of the Crime, Mug, Panic Strike, and Improvisation. I wonder if Improvisation is actually better than Executioner Strike, but I think because of the reset on Basilisk Venom, it's always nice to use. Then we've got Alice Skullberg. He's playing Guardian. I wonder, is Guardian really good against teams nowadays? Well, they did lose the first match, so I don't know if it is that good.
Dragon Hunter is got nerfed as well. I think what we're going to do is like we can talk about the rest of the builds when we're in the game. But you're right, you know, Dragon Hunter is really not something we will see much in this tournament. I don't think from the more experienced teams. Although I would say still that don't know what to. They do have experience in tournaments. They've been playing actually. The team name at the very least is somewhat experienced. They've played in previous tournaments, but I still think that class is quite weak, especially through some of the recent patches. And I mean, the nerf to the second virtue in terms of the amount of healing, some of the survivability and damage that comes out from the trap as well on Dragon Hunter. Was it Test of Faith got nerfed a little bit as well, and Renewed Focus I think got an extended cooldown as far as I remember.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that's right. So there are significant nerfs to that class because I think, you know, in terms of, you know, a mid-range level around gold or so, you know, players had a real difficulty trying to dodge a trap. So yeah, that's the thing. But anyway, we have got a split. What's going on, C-Mash, on the map?
So we've got a nice split right now. People aren't actually getting into mid. I think they're just trying to sneak in and figure out who they're going to take out. Trying to keep their Necro alive by keeping him back. Offending name coming into the mid, focusing on Crixels. Going over to the side node, the temple. We also see them just playing around there too as well, trying to figure out who they're going to take out first. Huge Shock and Smokezilla taking their time to target someone. Frosty the Bowman and Trek on. Samboy comes into the point, trying to make some presence there. I wonder if nope, he doesn't look like he's going to survive. So never mind that. Moving on to the
See, that's
shrine.
interesting. I'm literally watching the map at the moment, and Samboa moves all the way from mid in a 1v2 to close, and then ends up going into another 1v2. Where I thought he was going to gang up with the Thief and the Mesmer to take close, and they were going to leave. They were going to leave their Druid at mid. But here, this rotation, they've just completely over-rotated. Like, they've completely overtaken. I'm not trying to be mean. C-Mash is just, like, having a laugh here.
It's hilarious. It's like, what the heck are you doing?
We have to, and the thing is like, last game, they need to work out some way of dealing with this. And I do think that, in a way, they actually had a good idea, but they started to move on from there. They actually left their Druid mid to 1v2, which is fine. Druid can survive a 1v2 for an amount of time, and he can escape. He's got the ability to do that. The problem is that the Rev went 1v2 over at close, then the Thief had to move. So they actually weren't in a fight for a long time over towards their close point. So you really need to watch out for their over rotations here. They do have a capture point on the map. They have close point now, and they can start to come back into the game. Trekon is down over on the other side of the map. They're going for 3-point congestion here. Both teams as it is, and actually a nice res comes in, not much cleave, and now they're in a 2v3.
Yeah, I feel like what they're doing right now, they might be able to come back from this. Let's just take a look at what the Guardian's doing on the shrine there. He's putting a lot of pressure onto Florilla, which, if they can win that 1v1, they might be in a good position. Oh, they just lost the 3v2 on the temple. So that's, well, it seems mid is theirs too as well. So that 1v1 is what it depends on now. And it doesn't look like he's winning it anytime soon.
I mean, and as well, like chat, I do see what's going on in the chat as well and everything else. But you guys have to realize that this is a high seeded team versus one of the lower seeded teams. Just towards the end is randomized, by the way. But we have top seeded, like top 7 to 8. Again, we don't have much basis to really seed the other teams on, other than just, you know, myth and legend about these people half the time. But you know, I mean, they're actually doing okay for who they're versus. They're versus the winners of the Groucho tournament, like a good majority of them. They're versus a solid team of players who do have a lot of knowledge about the game, who have a lot more time as well spent in the game. So try to remember that. This is the first round of this tournament as well.
It's okay for them to, you know, I'm not saying that you're doing bad.
Not you, sorry, I'm talking to the audience generally. I'm not talking to you.
I'm going to defend the audience as well. I'm going to defend the audience as well. It's like, you see, that first rotation by the Revenants is that was just like, you know, people make that mistake.
It wasn't great.
People make that mistake, and that's fine. But man, just, you know, wake up, seriously.
C-Mash is taking no prisoners today. I was like, wow, okay, that's fine.
see the play they did afterward, where the Thief and the Mesmer came in to fight. Is it Trekon and Frosty? That was good. They were winning that fight until they got +1, and that's all right. You can if you're playing well and you get outmaneuvered, that's all right. You're still playing well. Sometimes things happen, but when you make a mistake like that, that's just like that goes on.
It didn't set them up too well in the game, especially when they have to win they have to win this to keep into the series. I mean, the one saving grace is that they do have. If they lose this game, they do go into the lower bracket and they go for they've got one more round. They've got another chance to come back in. And there are situations where there is some flair in terms of some of the fighting that they are performing. So there's definitely potential in future to, potentially work on this composition and work potentially as well on their synergy together and hopefully to improve that kind of rotational play. Because it does take a long time, if you're not just a bunch of pro players who've been playing together and know how each other move without even talking about it, it is very difficult to really synergize your team. But here we see offending name. Now offending name is Imda. That is confirmed by him when I started this game. I didn't actually ask them before. It's probably quite obvious actually, because everyone else is pretty much named after their account name, and he's doing a fantastic job at the moment. I'm really enjoying his positioning and just his pressure that he's got on the map as well. He can just sit on node. He's getting a massive amount of support from his team. Trekon is playing Rev so well. Obviously, we saw him a lot in the ESL 1v1s potentially as well, taking some of those tournaments himself. Good stuff from this show dominance team, and with the 2 cap at the moment and mid contested, I don't think elsewhere we're going to see this happen. Now, I really don't like this. I don't like Alice going versus Frosty in terms of Dragon Hunter versus Druid. I think Druid is just going to not even a decap I don't think is going to happen here. So I really think they need to rethink what's going on with the Dragon Hunter. They're trying to send Small Zella over towards that fight as well. They do send their Thief, but they need to think about this now. They're 2v3 over on midpoint. Do they want to use this point to distract? The Revenant is here now with Crixels. Do they want to sustain it? It looks like they are, but I don't think they're going to be able to move quick enough from this fight over on Temple to get back to mid, if that's what they want to do.
8:30 is coming up soon, so this is where the clincher is. If they can, every time a buff comes up is when the other team can come back, or the winning team can actually hold their ground. It all depends on how they rotate. Unfortunately, when the first buff came up, the rotation of blue team of don't know what to do just seemed like they were, they weren't quite sure how to handle it. They left a node free capped. Well, right now, they've gotten the 3 cap buff now. The red team has got the 3 cap buff now, unfortunately. And yeah, that was what it was counting on. If they could hold whoever is on that lower buff down and keep the everyone else in a struggle, in a fight, and actually win those fights, that would have been their comeback. Unfortunately, they've lost the 2 buffs, and it's just a steamroll right now.
Yeah, it's a solid one. Like you say, they haven't got the maximum amount of ticks because we have seen the decap on the other side of the map. Looks like they're going to go for the kill on Crixels here as well, as he's trying to just distract as much as possible. Mesmer's going to go over towards mid for this blue team. Sambar, though, is going to be taken into downstate. Frith looks like he's going over towards Temple to potentially +1. Alice Schuberg, it feels like he's almost been here for the entire game. They really need to rethink that rotation from him. He does get the decap, though. Although Frosty, I think he's just trying to regenerate himself there as well and get off point, knowing that he was getting that rotation in. I think there was something that just occurred on the wall there. I'm not too sure. Trekon is going to come in here and as well, and you'd think that Trekon being in the addition to this fight, they'll probably be able to win this 2v1 now, as we do have obviously huge Sock the Thief. He does also potentially get bursted there as well from the pet as he actually cannot see that. And this is not a good matchup for them. It's just straight up not a good matchup. They've got sustain, they've got burst damage, and the Thief and the Dragon Hunter, Dragon Hunter can't really help Huge Sock too much anyway, because he's only really got that virtue and whatnot to give him some kind of support. So it's not a good matchup for them, and they're literally just trying to scramble for points at the moment, the best they possibly can. And that's what they need to do, in a way, to try and come back into this game, but also try and match up with the other team in a successful manner. And unfortunately for them, it looks like we are going to see Flo come into this point over on mid just in the nick of time to make sure he comes through that port. Obviously, he is going to be mowed out. Can he survive this in the end? He can't. Too much burst for Small Zella and Samboa. And this there again, that's the kind of flair we have seen in moments from this team, and there is definitely some potential.
Yes,
Quack is going to have to sustain here on his own for a while, though.
Yeah, they do have some potential. And,
we're just going to end the game. That was just all that.
Just to give Alice Skuberg a handshake in words, in that he did a really good job holding the points that he was on. Not to we've been saying how Guardians and Dragon Hunters are not that great, but he did a good job. He was really amazing at holding points and even keeping people off the buff. So yeah, it's not that they're bad; they just need to improve. And I know the chat was saying I'm a bit harsh. I apologize. Well, actually, no, I'm not apologizing.
I think I was surprised.
I'm fair.
As well, actually.
I'm a fair person.
Okay,
I'm a very fair person. So when I say you're trash, don't worry. I'm also going to tell you when you're really good as well. So watch out for that.
Yeah. He does give. He does give criticism in a polite way as well.
Polite way. I was pretty harsh. Yeah. Even for me, I was kind of harsh.
Okay, right. I have to get everyone out of this arena. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you see Mesh and Freak, if you could also leave the arena as well, just have to quickly reset things. What we're going to do is, if we can go to a quick break. We're going to get the arena sorted out for you guys. We're going to come back with potentially, I think we've got them. I think Oron's actually going to send these guys quite soon. But I've just got to reset the arena quickly. We are going to show you either Invictus versus Drama Police or I still don't know how to say this. Strui Kendukin versus Unexpected Challengers. We want to show both of these series for you guys today. So we are just going to take a break so I can set the arena up.